Ah yes, and at finally coming to terms with what was happening, I decided to just fall back on what I know best, murder. Strangely enough, I did find a key on one of the culprits, and a set of orders. I'm not gonna lie, I hung on to it. I felt I could use it. Should I ever need to come up with a similar set of orders, I could use it as a guideline of sorts. And it seems that I've discovered... well, the end of the maze doesn't seem an appropriate title, but there's certainly when they stopped expanding it, apparently being crushed by earth elementals. My only thought being, oh joy, more elementals, because the first one didn't kill me 5 times.
We are the light. They are the darkness.
Thankfully, they seem to be gone and in their place monitor lizards, which I had no issue murdering. And it was in this room I found an entirely new sight. Apparently, Menduig's claim of cultists simply just falling in didn't seem so crazy after all, as before me stood 2 Cambions. Of all things, this was rather discouraging. I wasn't entirely sure which way was safer suddenly. But, waste not, wants not, we promptly attempted to kill them. There was some leather armor and a scimitar too. I mean, I can't...
Something.
really couldn't complain as Sela declares how she's trying to be useful like Amelia is. Though I was curious, so naturally I decided to tug the lever, and as usual, found a secret door with... not much of use. Not much of use at all.
I am helpful, am I not?
Though I did find a potion of blur. And should I encounter another damned elemental, it would sure come in handy. For someone. And before us we found exactly what I feared to find down here after seeing that note. A damned elemental. Now, an intelligent man, not having been spotted by this creature, might have simply left it alone, left it be. Me, and my powers of time travel, I decided to risk it. As it even fell to one of my spells, which generally performed very poorly. I wouldn't say killing it was even really worth the time or the effort, but it didn't cost me anything, so no harm done. I was growing truly curious just how far down this damn place went. And upon seeing a great deal of viscera and gore and God only knows what else, I hesitated. It appeared to be some kind of ritualistic mass grave. I don't get disturbed easily. I will say that was disturbing. Thankfully, I was quickly distracted by the Cambions, who apparently actually knew how to swing a damn sword, and damn it took Sela out in a hit. I decided to rectify this problem immediately. And, strangely enough, only prevented a minor hindrance, it seems.
Be gone, thought!
I might pitch the paladin shit constantly, but I will say this, her backswing does not need any tips. Good God. Regretfully, it was becoming painfully obvious we're nearing the end of this little sidetrack, and we will have to actually turn around and backtrack a wee bit. Though I did find something a little odd. I didn't know what that was supposed to do, what the symbols meant. And honestly, it was only sheer curiosity that kept me there fiddling with the damn thing as we took a moment to rest in what, sadly, the safest place being a ritualistic mass grave site. But Lord knows we did need the rest.
Stop staring at me all the time. It's creepy, you know?
If you want me to obey, make me. Or are you afraid I'll beat you and you'll have to do what I say?
They will break against our resolve.
Regretfully, our rest was cut a little short by a giant spider that seemingly come out of the damned wall? Wait, what? Thankfully, it was just a giant spider, and we immediately went right back to bed. Though a little rested, and a little bit more keen of mind, I took another look at these colored gems before me. And then a memory flitted to my mind of paintings. And so, on a rather random whim, it was at this moment I suddenly decided to pay much closer attention to the things I stumble upon that opened my eyes. Sela peers closely at the sword laying on the altar, which seems completely unexceptional to me. Wait, this is... No, it can't be. Her eyes lit up. I know that hilt. Radiance. The sword of the great Yaniel. That's what this is. But it's meant to be in the Tower of Estrad with all the other relics. That's what I heard, at least. Well, of course this rusted piece of metal must be the very same sword. Camellia rolled her eyes as she happily commented. I think you merely wish that this were the illustrious sword of legend. You don't get it. I've seen this sword 100 times in paintings, in the hands of the Yaniel statue. The Yaniel statue, I haven't actually met Yaniel. Pardon me. The text is weird. Text? Ignore that. I've even thought of going to the Estrad Museum to see the real thing in person. But how did it get here? I mean, that's all nice, but what the hell is so friggin' special about it? It's just another sword, isn't it? Her face told me enough that I had said something very, very wrong. Now, nothing, I guess. The sword was legendary in its day. People say that when Yaniel held it, the blade would glow, striking demons left and right. Soldiers would see Radiance's light from afar and take heart, rushing into the fray and winning. But I don't know what's wrong with it now, or how to restore its power. All I can sense is that they made a mockery of it. You're empathizing with an object extraordinary. Are all paladins so tender-hearted and sensitive? Sensitive in a way, yes. We're highly attuned to evil and everything wrought by demons. Radiance was in evil hands, and as a paladin, I can tell you they did nothing good to it. I just blinked absently at that. Though, I found myself saying it anyway. No shit. They're demons. What else were they gonna do with it? Wouldn't surprise me if one wiped its ass with it. I mean, that's nice. You found a cool legendary sword? Question mark. Oh. But, I'm failing to see any further point. We should keep going? Let's keep going. Also, there's nothing fun in the chest, and I'm sad. Camellia, check that chest. I always did take delight in ordering my minions about. Though she disappointingly only returned with a couple of health potions, 2 spell scrolls, another scimitar, which Roy had a few of, and 18 gold coins, because, hooray, my life is so complete. Though now that we have thoroughly explored this rather dark place, I felt it was time to return. I'm prepared to face whatever awaited us next. I could only assume amazingly good things. After all, this place has been nothing but charitable to us this entire time we've been here. Why would I ever expect anything bad to happen to us in such a place? It's so friendly. I held a sarcastic smile as we once again approached this rather macabre scene. Sela glanced back over her shoulder at me, and I simply gave a nod of my head, signaling that, yes, by all means, kill the Dretch. The Dretch, thankfully, even with its brother, was little threat, though we did find it was a little hardier than we expected such a small creature to be. As the party discussed this, I investigated the ritual circle closer. And while my studies, not exactly level of expertise, I did find enough signs to know that they had in fact summoned a damn demon. Worse yet, successfully. And with a sigh, I looked towards the next door and prayed for anything to distract me just a while longer. I originally just wanted to leave to continue my own exploits. Here I am in a damn labyrinth of sorts, dedicated to a Minotaur god. Of labyrinths, no less, and Minotaurs. Full of cultists that are summoning goddamn demons. What could go wrong? As my forebear might have told me at one point. Before that, Baylor summarily ripped his head off and proceeded to shit down his neck. As a Baylor is wont to do. Praise Ayamade.
Here you are, huddled together like a herd of animals. Pitiful monsters, not human or demon, even tieflings are less defective than you. But your master, Sabemderak, can make you better, stronger. I can satisfy your hunger, starvelings of the dark. Submit to me.
No! We are the descendants of Crusaders. Trusting a demon would be a betrayal of their memory. Also, fuck you. Who's this? Well, who's next descendant of Crusaders who values old legends more than their life? Speak up now, please.
Beasts, monsters in human guise reveal your true nature. This is sweet wholesome flesh of a righteous Asana. Eat, underground crusaders, eat the flesh of the crusader from above. Find your true strength.
Against all my better judgment, my feet Seeming to move of their own accord, me and my minions all rushed at the demon. The air seemed to grow thicker with every step as the nauseating sound of those beasts gnawing on that man seemed to grow louder and echo in my ears. I feel like I'm watching from underwater as I see the mongrels fall to their knees one after another and crawl to the Asimar's body. I still hear their fangs tearing through flesh, the sloshing of blood. And I also hear the formal mongrels snarl like animals, fighting over the most tender and juicy bits of meat. I summarily threw up in my mouth a few times during this ordeal. Some lines from Urgathoa's sacred text float into my mind, as if of their own volition. I can make a great marinade for Asimar flesh using honey and pomegranate juice. To make the meat even more tender, roll it in breadcrumbs before frying. I'm not entirely sure why in some of my more religious readings I found a literal recipe for Asimar flesh, but there it was, and it seemed to occur to me now. I'm not entirely sure why. My companions, on the other hand, writhed in agony. One clutches at their head, another doubled over. And even I began to feel saliva pool into my mouth, the metallic tang awakening a hunger within me. Though the hunger quickly turned to rage, this winged filth dares try to bind me, of all people, to its will. It dares tempt me with the sweet scent of meat, untainted by corruption. The wretch must die. 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 And still the clarity remained with me. Somewhere deep down, beneath the veil of rage and anger, I sense a light trying to break through. The angel's power could serve me here. Though, I am not one to go and do what is seen as the good thing. And instead, I succumb to the rage of my own will. As I permitted it to possess me, malevolent joy spread through me, quite familiar. Freedom. Freedom to kill anyone who stood in my way. The demon, the cultist, the pathetic mongrel fighters, they're no match for me. And quite frankly, they never were, if I'm being honest. I feel a crimson fog of hatred cloud my vision. My simmering blood no longer wishes to languish in my veins. It wants to be free. It bursts forth from my chest wound in powerful pulses, its heady scent dispelling the last threads of sanity. Black maggots! Ah! There's more to you than meets the eye. You have our power within you. Slaves, destroy this vermin! He's already wounded. Wenduag, kill him! But this Wenduag did in fact take a step forward, and I was more than prepared to make sure she was a corpse by the end of this situation. But instead, I watched her stand rather proud and defiant. I no longer serve you, you bitch. Not you or your flying monkey. I always fight with the strongest side. But there of fucking nowhere, Lan just showed up as if, he was expected. What'd I miss? A dramatic showdown? Hey, I'm always good to go and, damn it, I had a joke and I lost it. Fuck. Oh, it's you. Perfect. Now we can all die in horrible agony at your puns.
Let me draw the first blood.
It was at this point, we all thankfully joined forces, and summarily, apologies, murdered the bitch. Camellia really getting into it, as the rest of us was so frightened by the aspect we ran like bitches. Camellia as well, at which point we realized it was a spell, and then proceeded to return to kick some ass. My dear paladin seeming to take the worst of the fight, and then summarily end it as I heal her. Oh, mighty Savimrak, your faithful servants and folks, you demons protect your mistress? Demons always make the worst gods. Windward said as she put the fucking bitch down with a quick shot before we turned to... Oh, the closets. Oh shit, that's not gonna be a problem at all. The one decided to harass me personally, and I took great offense to that. Windward thankfully shot it in the ass.
They didn't have a choice. They were forced to do it.
Oh, thank God I don't have to voice act this.
Keep telling yourself that, Lan. There is always a choice. They could have chosen to die, but now they're going to live and become stronger. I know that from personal experience.
Shut up! You're not just a traitor, you're a monster! The young ones, they believed your stories, and you lured them to a demon and watched them eat human flesh!
I decided to keep to myself at that comment as I glanced around and saw that everyone was kind of also going along with that, and I summarily began to nod my head in faux agreement.
I was trying to make them strong. What have you done for them? What were you doing while I was looking for ways to bring strength to our tribe? You're useless, Lan.
I led by example! I trained. I tried to become stronger so I could go to the surface and maybe do something worthwhile with my stupidly short life. And I will do it. I might be the one to bring our whole tribe to the surface. But you? Why would you want any power that turns you into a monster? These young guys and girls, they trusted you. And they were turned into mindless animals, ready to eat corpses at a demon's command.
Me personally, I didn't see much wrong with that, but apparently Lan and most of everyone else of my minions took great offense to this.
I went through the same ritual as them, and I didn't become an animal. I conquered my anger. The anger that has been building and building in every one of us for decades. Unlike you, I have no intention of just lying down and politely accepting death. I will rise above all this, while you'll still be stuck with your pride, chewing on rats. Who do you want at your side? The person who betrayed the demons to follow you? The person who will do everything you say and bring glory to your name? Or this trash?
I mean, I'm not going to lie, frankly, I was pretty set on taking Windward with me from the start. Lan was just a little too preachy for my taste, and a little too... What's the word I'm looking for? Not moronic, something a little fiercer. Virgin! That's right. He reminded me too much of a virgin, and that was leaving a sour taste in my mouth. That said, it did suddenly occur to me to ask. Wait, Lan, how the hell did you find your way here? Like, seriously, we kind of went through a lot of bullshit, don't get me wrong, but how did you get here?
I just kept going until I found it. You can find a way into anywhere if you try hard enough. And besides, I also remembered some of this traitor's stories. At least some of them were true. But that doesn't matter now. We need to tell Sol everything, and then we need to get out of here.
I feel that my face mirrored my other minions, as we all blinked in astonishment as this man literally just admitted to bungling his way here and somehow managing to find us. The boy was lucky, I could not deny.
We? You think you're the one going to the surface with them? Isn't that sweet?
And it was when she spoke up, I suddenly realized I eyed her. So you've been serving dude whose name requires 3 loads of phlegm to pronounce this whole time, Wendy? Were you gonna inform me of that at some point, or was this just another one of your little pleasant surprises we stumbled upon?
Better just serve a strong master than to eke out an existence in a dark hole with no hope. I am of the Neathers. Our lives are short, but we are hardier than humans. I realized a long time ago that I was capable of more than this life offered, and I follow whomever is the strongest. You scared Sabamelech. Kosilla has fallen. Now, I wish to serve you.
I cannot deny the effect her words had on me. It was rather glorious to have someone realize where true strength lies. And honestly, if I can simply buy this creature's loyalty through sheer strength alone and show a force, I already have a cowed. Well, can't very well break a broken horse, can you? Lan, on the other hand, would be quite the task to bring to heel, I felt.
I thought you were proud of your heritage, but you're willing to crawl on your belly before anyone who's even a little stronger than you. You say you didn't become an animal? What a joke! Only animals pledge their allegiance to whoever has the sharpest teeth. Oh, but what am I saying? Even cave spiders are loyal to their mother. You're even lower than that.
As he said this, I recalled a cave spider being eaten by its young not that long ago as we passed on the way to get into the shield maze. I slowly shook my head, knowing what decision I would choose.
Oh, so now you think you know everything about me. You're one of the best hunters in the tribe. It benefited me to ingratiate myself with you. So I acted in a way that pleased you. And the Uplander will get the Windward that he wants to see. I'm willing to do anything to get out of this hole. And you're willing to do anything too. Don't try to hide it. I know you, Lan. I've had time to study you.
I'm going to the surface only because my time has come to leave. The Uplanders are in danger. They need all the help they can get. But I'm only risking my own life. See the difference? I'll do whatever the Crusade asks of me, but I'll never be like you.
Wait a tick. Wendorick, why didn't you just try to stop us from going inside the maze in the first place? You know damn well we were probably gonna find out your secret here.
Sabamelech is always in need of new servants. You'd make as good a servant as anyone else, and then... once you've gone missing in the maze, not even the redoubtable Lan would have dared look for you.
I couldn't deny how clever the plan actually was. Though, I think she more suspected Lan would have charged in after me shortly after and simply summarily found his demise as well, therefore killing 2 birds with 1 demon. Go figure. Clever girl.
But then why did you come with me to look for the sword?
I did bring up an interesting point. What was the point of the sword then?
So I could kill you quietly if you found it and stop you taking it to the village, you idiot. I would have told everyone that you got caught in a cave-in. But then the Uplanders showed up and I had to change my plans.
I was beginning to like Wendorick more and more as she spoke. Certainly those little traitorous ideals I found rather promising. As long as she valued her life, of course, and valued that my power will usurp all others in the future.
I don't regret what I did. I met you. Just say the word and all the Neathers will be yours. I'll bring them to you if you take me with you.
Okay, Wendy, but what exactly are you proposing to do with the mongrels?
What you saw here. They will become stronger. They will be an army unlike anything ever seen before on Galarian. Our lives may be short, but while we live, we are faster, deadlier, and harder to kill than most. I am offering you an army. An army that will win you land, power, and everything you desire.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, you pretty well sold it to me.
An army of cannibals? Are you insane? You want to turn them from rational beings into rabid beasts that only want to kill. They will be slaves, and you will be their slave driver. Is that the kind of power you're so desperate to gain?
In a word, yes, Lan, that is exactly the kind of power I'm desperate to gain.
I went through the same process they did. The beast raged inside me, my mind was foggy, but I have an iron will, and I never back down. I snatched victory from the jaws of insanity. If there are any individuals worthy of becoming my officers among those Neithers, they will be able to do the same.
Clever, clever little mongrel. My respect for her continues to grow the more and more she speaks of her plans so openly. Though I do hope she's hiding something from me. After all, you shouldn't show your full hand, even if you know you're backed against the wall. You know, you did say you went through the same ritual. So, do you also eat people? Also, Lan, don't even joke about it, because quite frankly, having an army that literally cleans up after itself is fan-fucking-tastic. Seriously, best battlefields ever are those full of cannibals.
Yes. Posilla found me in the caves. I was lost and hungry, and she offered me a choice. Die as a nobody, or live, and gain the power to change everything. Savamelek tore off a piece of an Azimar priestess's thigh. A big, juicy piece. More meat than I'd ever received in the tribe. That was the first time I knew what it was like to be happy. To have a full belly. I swore to myself that it would always be that way.
While her reasons might have disturbed me, just slightly. Just a hair, as she described the flesh in such vivid detail, I couldn't help but also admire that she decided that, after that moment, she would always do whatever it took for her to be happy. I felt a strange kinship with her at that moment.
Then the madness and rage took over. I came very close to turning into an animal, no better than the weaklings you saw in the maze. But I am strong. I mastered myself. I brought myself under control. I fell so that I could rise again.
You should have chosen death. Dying's better than living like that.
I didn't entirely disagree with Lan, but I don't think he'd ever suspect my reason for it, frankly.
You're saying I should have died that day, Lan. But then who would have listened to your feeble jokes? Who would have showed you the best caves for hunting? Who would have made you a man?
It was at this point the entire party actually slowly turned their eyes on Lan, who had the most furious blush on his human features.
I would have been fine without all that. And without you. Your death will make the world a slightly better place, Wenduog.
Look, isn't our Lan sweet? Look how his eyes blaze as he speaks of murder. And we were so close, too. Tell me, what do you think he'll do to you if you fail to live up to his precious ideals?
She did bring up a very strong point. After all, Lan's ideals did not coincide with mine, and he proved to be stupidly heroic. At some point, he would be a hindrance that I would have to summarily remove, like a tumor. But I returned my thoughts back to my previous inquiries. Okay, so what did your service to Hosilla even entail? Like, what did she have you do, Wendy? Tell me that. Promote yourself to me, make yourself useful to me.
It was simple. I lured those I deemed worthy into the maze. To the rest, I told stories of the horrors of the maze, making them stay away. It all hung in the balance when the cave walls shuddered, and many of the young ones decided that the time of their great exodus had come. I had no doubt that Hosilla would dispatch a dozen young Neathers easily. But what would become of the maze if all the tribes poured in? So when Lan ran off looking for the Angel's sword, I went after him. Not to help him, but to make sure that the sword never reached Neathholm. It's a pity that you got involved and stopped me from killing him. But then again, the evening gong has not yet been struck.
You sicken me.
Okay, you know what, you two? I think I've legit heard enough at this point.
Then you know which one of us you need. Take me with you, and I will give you an army of Neathers.
Don't fall for her empty words. WotR despises everyone but herself. As soon as you show any weakness, she'll betray you, just like she betrayed us.
I smiled a little at that. After all, if WotR decided to show she didn't quite know where her place beneath me was, I would gladly put her back into it.
That is the reasoning of a weak person. A strong person does not fear, they act.
I took a moment and realized that the wound in my chest had reopened. I summarily placed my hand over my chest and found that the wound was gone. Like I had never even been there in the first place, the skin totally smooth and unmarred beneath my clothing.
It's gone. It was just there, and now it's gone. It's gotta be some kind of demonic trickery. You need to have a cleric look at that.
As if you know anything about demons and their powers. Some dark force cast its gaze on him and chose him from among all others. There's magic inside this uplander that is beyond your meager understanding. And all you have to say is, go see a cleric. You're pathetic, Lan.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, I definitely made my decision here.
I hope we're not taking this girl with us. She'll sell us to the first demon she sees.
If we're befriending monsters in order to fight the demons, why not join forces with the strongest of them? Isn't that the rational choice? They're both equally hideous. Neither of them will improve the aesthetics of our little band.
I couldn't help but just grin like an idiot as Camellia quickly became my favorite among my minions. My mind flitting to rather sordid and lewd thoughts for a moment before I shook the thoughts away and smiled. Okay, you know what? Eeny, meeny, miny, I pick Wendy.
You're making a mistake. If some priest ever winds up down here, I'll ask him to pray for your soul. But I doubt it'll help you.
I didn't want to tell him the kind of priest that actually would help me. He might be horrified by it.
Who cares what you think? The Master has made his choice. Lan knows too much. He must die.
You're right. I know everything. And I also know where I'm not wanted, so I think I'll just go and have a chat with Saul.
Yeah, Lan, I hate to break it to you, bro. That's not gonna happen. Oh, I guess it did happen. Shit. That's a problem. We watched as the arrow did in fact land, but he leapt toward the wall and slipped through a barely visible crevice, much to our astonishment. My gaze turned back to Wendy, a brow cocked, as I began to question my choice.
He got away. Don't worry, Lan. I'll get you. Wait here, Master. I will bring Sol and the other Uplanders. We'll make sure that everyone knows that Lan failed to save anyone and fled like a coward.
I won't lie, dishonesty isn't quite my forte, but telling a lie isn't hard. Oh joy, now I get to go back to voicing this asshole. My favorite. Chief Sol appears flanked by mongrels. The journey has taken its toll on him. His breath is labored and the sweat is dripping from his bloated face. I have been talking way too much in this video. Ugh.
What is... I'm sorry, I'm having a stroke. What is...
Anivia gave a low whistle. I'll be damned! Turns out old Holrun isn't as crazy as we all thought. There really were demons down here. Maybe I should have listened and sent a patrol down here after all. Damn it. I caught Horgus on the corner of my eye, his lips curled in distaste as he tries to keep his distance from the unconscious mongrels. Though I simply smiled to him and nodded. You know what, I think it's time we left. I'm going with the Uplanders, Chief. The maze holds no secrets now. I have to go further. Chief Sol heaved a sigh at this.
Oomph. You always had to go further than everybody else. But what can I do? Go on then, and make sure to come back to us somehow. But where are you going? Where's the way out?
I think I've worked it out. Windorg searched Alcilla's body and shows me some papers and a key as well. If there's a key, there's a door. There's a letter that it was intended for someone. Nivia's eyes quickly skim over the letter and she passed it to me. Those cheeky sons of... This is all the information on the cultists in the city. Their meeting places, passwords, their secret hideouts. I think we should show this to whoever's in charge of Canabarus right now. As soon as we get back to the surface, we'll find out what's what. When she handed it back to me, I did decide to give it a quick little read of, And yes, it did in fact give quite a merry bit of information. But with that all said and done, I nodded through these horrible abominations and... Well, Nivea is nice enough, I suppose, though Horgus Grum, I hope, died on the way somewhere. Tired, wounded, and fatigued, we found ourselves still traveling through yet even more of this accursed maze. And we sighed, and began our trek forward again.